Hi guys, welcome back to Classic Album Reviews. Now today I will be looking at one of my favorite artists and one of the greatest artists of all time. This is a Motown legend and a real music legend. One of the greatest innovators and artists of all time. This is a real genius. I'm talking about the one and only Stevie Wonder. Today I will be taking a look at five albums of what is considered to be from his classic period from 1972 to 1976, a period in which he achieved his his most critical and commercial success. A little backstory on Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder was born in 1950. He was born blind, um, but but that didn't stop him. He learned how to play the piano, harmonica, and drums, and I think he played bass as well. Um, at the age of at the age of 10 or 11, he was signed to Motown Records after he was discovered by Ronnie White, who was a member of Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. So after that, he was signed to Motown, and in 1963, at the age of 13, he had his first hit with um, the um, fingertips. That was 1963, and he put out a few albums during that time from 1963 to 65, and he had some modest hits. And then in late 65, early 66, at the age of 15, he had another big hit with Uptight, Everything's Alright, and and uh, and throughout the rest of the 60s, he had other great hits such as I Was Made to Love Her, My Cherie, More, and for Once in My Life. And then by 1970, things were changing at Motown. Stevie was 20 years old, and by that time, he felt that 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 he should have a more creative control with his music. And in 1971, um, uh, um, Marvin Gaye released his seminal "What's Going On" album. That album changed the game back in 1971 for R&B music and for music in general because it was the first time that especially a Motown artist or album uh, had followed the whole album era that was going on, with the artists like the Stones and the Beatles. Um, they started to look at albums as like an art form, because before it had been about just the singles, about just hit singles, and then artists started to look at albums as like a complete work, as a cohesive work of art, that it could be played from front to back, so in 1971, Marvin Gaye um, released his most famous album, "What's Going On," which talked about the Vietnam that was happening in at at that time, and so Stevie was inspired by that album and the fact that Marvin got creative control. And Marvin Gaye was one of the first Motown artists to have creative control with his music. You know, because a lot of the stuff for Motown was done by other songwriters. Yeah, Motown had songwriters and producers who wrote for the artists. Yeah, Smokey Robinson was actually like the only artist on Motown who had full creative control over his music. You know, because he wrote his own stuff. You know, for him and the Miracles, and he also wrote for half the roster on Motown, including uh, the Temptations. And so Stevie wanted to have that creative control um, as well. And so in 19 in early 1972, he he started with this album, um, uh, "Music of My Mind." That this was like the first time he had like gotten creative control over his albums, and this album features hits such as um uh, Superwoman, and yeah, this was the first album that he produced by himself, and the first of what would be known as his classic era. And then in late '72, he made a talking book. Um, now um a lot of people say that the they say that this album was actually they say that this was actually the beginning of the classic era. Uh, that this is where he started to get um really creative with his work. And yeah, this is also a really great album. Features hits such as "You Are the Sunshine of My Life" and one of his biggest hits of all time, a Superstition. 1973, he did Inner Visions. Now, this album is probably my favorite album by Stevie Wonder. He got more creative with this album. You know, he innovated um he innovated the keyboard synthesizers. You know, that was very popular in the 1970s. He made that popular along with a lot of other artists. You know, this features Too High, um, um, it, um, it, Visions, Living for the City, Golden Lady, Higher Ground, Jesus Children of America, all all in love is fair. Don't you worry about a thing, and he's Mr. Know It All. This album blended a lot of different styles in music. It had a lot of like soul and jazz R&B and gospel influence, and a lot of Latin influence, especially on the song "Don't You Worry About a Thing." You know, this is also a very this was also a very socially conscious album. You know, with songs like "Too High," which obviously about drug use. He had talked about uh, a girl who took drugs, and she passed away, and and Living for the City, which he told the story about a young African American boy who was living in the inner city, and he ended up going to jail at the end of the song. And so yeah, this is a great album. It is a masterpiece, and it was also this album also won Stevie Wonder his first Grammy for album of the year. I think he became the first African American and R&B artist to win the Grammy for album of the year. Then in 1974 he did he he released a, a film. This is first finale. This is also a great album. Features um um Boogie on Reggae Woman and you haven't done nothing, which which was a song that criticized President Nixon. Yeah, and on the previous album, Inner Visions, he on the song he's um Mr. Know It All. He also that was also about Reagan, and also on the on You Haven't Done Nothing. This features background vocals by the Jackson Five, and this this album won him his his second Grammy for Album of the Year in at the 1975 Grammys, and after this album he didn't put out another album for about 2 years. He because he was too busy working on his next album. Yeah, his next album took him 2 years to make after this one. Actually, Paul Simon made a joke at the 1976 Grammys where he thanked Stevie Wonder for not putting an album out that year, and so 2 years after fulfilling his first finale, he 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 did songs in the key of life. This is also a really great album. This is probably uh, this is probably my second favorite Stevie Wonder album. This is an epic two disc album, such a great album. This was like the a culmination of everything that he had done since like Talking Book. Fuses a lot of different styles together, from like rock, soul, some jazz influence. Uh, and also some funk and uh, di- some funk and disco. Sorry. Um, uh, yeah, this album features hits such as "I Wish" and uh, Sir Duke, "Pastime Paradise," "As," um, the Another Star, and there's a great instrumental track, Contusion. Yeah, this is a really great album. One of the greatest albums of all time. Uh, all these albums are some of the greatest of all time. This won him his third Grammy for Album of the Year, and he became and and with this album he became the first artist to to win Album of the Year three times. Yeah, yep. This is a great album. The combination of everything he had worked on up to this point. And so now a lot of people say that that was the end of its classic period because because he didn't put out another album for the rest of the 70s, except the in instrumental album, the uh, the Secret Life of Plants, I think was called. And then in he and but he didn't do another album until 1980. This album, I think I'd say that this, um, I think that I I say that this also is one of his classic albums. 1980s hotter than July. Uh, yeah, this album features hits such as um, Ain't Gonna Stand For It, which features backing vocals by the Gap Band with Charlie Wilson. Um, Master Blaster, which has a great which has a great reggae feel to it, and Happy Birthday, which is a tribute to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Stevie Wonder was actually one of the people who pushed to have Dr. King's birthday as a national holiday. He was a great advocate for it. He was he was very the he was very instrumental in getting uh, Dr. King's birthday to be a national holiday. And then in 1983 it finally did. So yeah, this is also a great album along with his other classic period albums. So yeah, these are all great albums. If you love music, you should definitely have these albums in your collection. So yeah, that is my review. Please leave comments and feedback, and also leave some albums that you'd like me to do for my next for my next episodes. And yeah, that is my review. Thank you, and good night.